Welcome back. In 1988, Pan Am Flight 103 was bombed over Lockerbie, Scotland. All 270 people on board were killed, and among those passengers were 35 Syracuse University students. The university has vowed to remember the lives of those lost in the terrorist attack. And now SA has responded to the recent release of Abdel Bassat al-Megrahi, the sole person found responsible for the attack. Unfortunately, Andy Schwab could not be here, but right now we have Jon Barnhart rejoining us. So Jon, could you please explain the resolution and how the whole thing got started?
Well, let's talk a little bit about what happened this summer, right? So last summer, the accused bomber, Abdel al-Megrahi, was released on what they called compassionate grounds. And this summer, all of a sudden that was called into question when his doctor came out after saying he'd only lived for 3 months and now he's been alive for a year, possibly 9 more years to come. People were kind of upset. And then there was this whole investigation call from our own senators here in the state of New York and in the states of New Jersey, asking for an investigation on whether British Petroleum had any involvement. And so we really felt like a lot more had come to the table, and as the student body, we really needed to put that opinion forward. Because too often when you watch the news and when you watch the cycles of what people are talking about, the student voice and the impact it's had at Syracuse University really kind of gets lost in the mud, if you will. And so we wanted to put forward a resolution that really detailed how students felt about this. And that's really where the resolution that you're seeing now came from.
So are the Remembrance Scholars getting any support with this? Do they have any input at all with this?
Of course. This resolution actually went through the Remembrance Scholars. They all looked at it, they all liked it, they all signed off on it. And of course, we're still working closely with them, not only to put this resolution forward, but as we start to move things forward in the future, sending letters to the senators, to our Secretary of State, to our own President of the United States, saying that we support his moves and the moves of the senators. The Remembrance Scholars are behind us all the way. They've signed petitions, and they're even adding events to this year's Remembrance Week to make sure that students on campus are not only educated about the events that took place, but the most recent updates this summer and how this resolution is going to play into those.
So what are the next steps? What outcomes does SA and the university expect to come after this?
Well, obviously the big outcome we wanted was to just put a student voice and a student face behind this issue because, again, too often that really gets lost. But the next steps from here is we plan on taking this resolution along with a couple cover letters and some petitions signed by the Remembrance Scholars and sending them on to the senators who called for the investigation of British Petroleum, our 2 senators here in New York and the 2 senators of New Jersey, as well as our own Congressman Dan Maffei, and then of course to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, to Vice President Joe Biden, to President Obama, to show them that we really do support this and that we hope they'll continue to push forward. And then after that we might be looking to hold a press conference as well here on the campus to detail the student opinion and to show why Syracuse University's community is so heavily impacted by this, by this force. And then of course that'll lead into Remembrance Week, which is the week we dedicate here on campus to remembering the 35 students that were lost in the bombing.
So Jon, for our student viewers who are pretty interested in this topic, where can they actually receive the document?
Oh, you mean a copy of the resolution?
Right.
Of course, they can come into our office and get it. It'll also be online by the end of the day, hopefully. Had some small glitches with OrgSync today, but we're getting that all worked out. So you'll be able to find it both online and in our office if you need it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jon. Coming up, Jon will rejoin us again to answer your questions. We'll be right back.